So a better deal, that's what's being promised by Democrats today, unveiling a new economic agenda as they start looking forward to 2018. Watch.
Democrats know a better deal for hardworking men and women demands bigger, braver thinking to create jobs and raise incomes.
Trump campaigned on a populist platform, talking to working people. That's why he won. But as soon as he got into office, he abandoned them. We Democrats are going to fill that vacuum.
This is one step that Democrats are offering to take back our government, and it's a darn good step.
So the party trying to present a forward-looking message after struggling to find rooting behind the resistance that they launched after the 2016 election and spent quite a bit of time on. The Democrats already find themselves behind in the money game. New numbers revealing what looks to be a bit of an enthusiasm gap for the GOP. Take a look at that. Cash on hand, $44 million for the RNC. Chris Darwalt is Fox News politics editor. Adrian Elrod is former director of strategic communications for the Clinton campaign. Charles Hurt is political columnist for the Washington Times and a Fox News contributor. Welcome to all of you. So obviously they've lost a bunch of special elections, and they've basically been dug into the resistance idea. And it seems now that it's occurred to Charles Schumer and others that maybe they need something more than that, Chris.
Yeah, and this is a good message for Democrats. This is, when you lose, the economic argument to a billionaire from New York, you may have lost your touch at
time for a gut
populism. Check. Yeah, you may, to a Republican, nonetheless, you may have lost your touch at populism. So this message, which is very pragmatic, I won't say exactly moderate, but it is not a radical Bernie Sanders leftarian. These are useful talking points for Democratic House candidates that are running in the kinds of districts where they will need to win if they expect to have a reasonable shot at winning back the House next year.
I mean, most of it involves, spending more money from the federal government or from companies. You're going to raise the minimum wage, Adrian, is one of the tenets of this. Increase health care in a number of ways as well. Programs for jobs, that kind of thing. I mean, I didn't think any of it's really revolutionary in terms of the ideas that Democrats adhere to, but they lost so many of their their sort of union blue-collar workers in the last round. They need to try to get them back.
Right. No, look, I agree with Chris on this. This is a great message for Democrats to be advocating for. Part of what we have talked about in the resistance that's formed since Donald Trump has become president is that we actually need to have a forward-thinking, positive message. Donald Trump did run on putting people back to work, especially in some of these what we call flyover states, states that have been in economic despair and have lost a lot of jobs. But since he came to office, he's done basically nothing about it. So Chuck Schumer was very smart in putting together this plan. Again, I think anytime Democrats are talking about the economy and putting people back to work, that's a good thing.
All right. Charlie, quick thought on that, and then I want to get your thought on this story from the Washington Post that just crossed a moment ago.
Sure. Well, obviously the big problem for Democrats is not that they quit giving that message. It's that they've lost all credibility whatsoever in giving that message. And it's kind of humorous to sit here today and listen to Nancy Pelosi, who's been trying to deliver this message for however long she's been in power now. And she's just trying to kind of reboot her own political career with new talking points. And people aren't buying it. And they have been buying it for the past, 8 years since President Obama won his first election. And I don't think they're going to start buying it now.
Well, we know Nancy Pelosi has not been a great selling point for some of the candidates in the course of the special elections that we saw. Campaigning, against having her continue was kind of a strong point for some of the Republicans who won those seats. This Washington Post story, rolling across just a few moments ago, basically adds to what we talked about at the top of the show, which is that it doesn't look good for Jeff Sessions if you read not even so much between the lines of the tweets. They're pretty much right out there. The beleaguered AG was just one of them. And then he was talking about loyalty to the Boy Scouts. Chris, it looks increasingly like they're going to find a way to try to nudge him out or get him to resign. Do you agree?
Well, what a humiliating, astonishing way to lay low Jeff Sessions, who, whatever people think about him in Congress, whether they agreed with him or disagreed with him in the Senate, an honorable man, a loyal man, a man who espouses his love for the Constitution, for the country. He stood by Donald Trump. He put that hat on when everybody told him it was career suicide. You can't do this. He's no good. And that was when Trump was a long shot, couldn't win. To see the depredations of Jefferson Beauregard Sessions through this and his service as Attorney General is a really sad thing. And it makes you understand why so few people really want to get in government and really want to get in public life, because you might end up abused and used like Jeff Sessions has been.
A couple names that are floated in this piece. Rudy Giuliani is one of them, Charlie. He said himself, apparently, to a reporter today that he thought that Sessions made the right decision when he recused himself from the Russia investigation, that he's not in the running. Ted Cruz is the other name that surfaces in this article as a possibility to follow up in his position.
And of course, the reason that Jeff Sessions recused himself has nothing to do with his alleged ties to Russia, but the fact that he was a clear surrogate of the campaign itself. But I agree with Chris about Jeff Sessions is not and never has been the problem in Washington. The direction that President Trump has gotten from voters to come and clean up Washington, it's not about Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions is an ally in that, and it's unfortunate that he is kind of taken a wire brush to Jeff Sessions.
So, Adrian, what would the response be on the Democrat side if the president were to remove the attorney general in one way or the other, whether he resigns, however that would play out, and then possibly, there's also this discussion about Mueller and this sort of chain reaction that could happen if he decides to remove Sessions?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, Attorney General Sessions, regardless of what you think about him, did the right thing by recusing himself from this investigation. And what is so deeply troubling to me and many other Democrats and many Americans in general is the fact that Donald Trump simply has no regard for the way our justice system is set up. If he doesn't like the way somebody handles something, even if it's looking at an investigation independently, which of course is what Bob Mueller is doing, and we're starting to look at him being attacked by Trump and his surrogates as being somebody who, in their view, is not credible to conduct an investigation that should be independent, he fires them. So that in itself is incredibly disturbing. Right. Regardless of your party affiliation, everybody should be concerned that Donald Trump does seem to have a complete lack of disregard for our justice system.
All right. Adrian, Chris, and Charlie, thank you very much. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
So still ahead tonight, a tractor trailer found with 10 immigrants who lost their lives trapped in that sweltering truck. And now the driver could be facing the death penalty. Attorney Mark Eiglarsh on whether his excuse could save his life. And the race that sparked some serious backlash and disappointment over the weekend for the greatest Olympian of all time after this.